All right. Hey, everybody. Happy Wednesday. We are back again. We are here to help give tips and tricks and help pretty much train us as well, because we talk to ourselves a lot, to be disruptive in your business. 2022 is right around the corner, and that is our goal. So going forward, we should all have that goal. You know what? We're going to be disruptive. It's amazing that that's the name of our little training call. And then Myra and Brent talk about it today. So it really hit me. But it was something that was already on my mind anyway. But Michelle, would you like to go first, or would you like me to go first? Which one would you like?
Oh, let's see here. I suppose I can go first this morning. I've made you go first the last several weeks, so I can kick it off and go first this morning. So, all right. I want to talk this morning about knowing where we're going, like having a clear understanding of what your goal is. Because if we don't have a clear understanding of what we're striving for, how do we know if we're achieving it? How do we know if we're taking the right steps? How do we know if we're getting closer to it, if we're off track? So we need to clearly define that. And with this business, sometimes that can be a little bit hard because you go, okay, is my vision of where I'm going, is that based on company goals? Is that based on team goals? And so it's important to sit with yourself for a minute or a couple hours or a couple days. You take as long as it takes to figure out, where do I want to go? What do I want this to look like? And sometimes I feel like that can be hard because the why behind it might not be clearly identified. Or you feel like, well, there's pin ranks. Do I pursue a pin rank? There's gold and ultimate, which are business levels and matching bonus. Do I pursue that? Do I pursue a certain number of people in my business? And so just kind of figuring out, where do I start? So that's been me this week. I've been sitting with myself and thinking, all right, how do I build on this momentum? Because we had a couple of rank advancements in my team this week, and we worked really hard together as a team to move everybody, as many people possible forward at the same time. And so that's awesome. And it feels like a fresh enthusiasm and a fresh energy that we have. And I don't want to lose that. I want to capitalize on that, to almost bottle it up so that we can use it going forward. And I started realizing, you know what? The momentum and the energy is great. The reason that we had it was because we had a clearly defined goal. This was our target. And so when everybody knows this is the goal, this is what we're working towards, and we're working together for it, it becomes easy to take those steps, to be able to, take the action necessary, even if it's uncomfortable, even if it stretches us, to take that action because you have that target in mind. And so we hit that. And now I'm like, yes, we got it. Now what? And so I've been sitting and kind of writing things down. And for me, I feel like there's been a little bit of a shift, for like a melding of my two businesses. Like they're coming together, New Age and my photo business. And there's a really neat interwoven connectedness of the two. And so I'm going, okay, what do I want to be known for? What, if I can write down a few things on a piece of paper, use the notes feature in your phone or your iPad, whatever is easiest for you, to start identifying those things. How do you want to be known? Like, I went to a funeral recently and heard them talking about different things that they remembered about this man. And strengths that he had and traits and characteristics and ways that his family remembered him versus ways that coworkers and friends remembered him. And so it got me thinking, what do I personally want to be known for? And I would hope that it's not just, thinking forward to death and a funeral service where we go, well, what do I want people to say about me then? I mean, yes, there's that. But if people were to say, introduce me to someone that they wanted me to talk to, or Anthony was going to introduce me on a call, what are the things that I would like to be known for? And so I would encourage each one of you to answer that question for yourself. And we all might have some that are the same. And I am willing to bet that we also have many that are different. And that's okay, and that's good. So, some of the things that I want to be known for are encouragement, are team building, are honesty and integrity. Those are kind of the core of what I want to be known as. And then I started expanding that a little bit, and I'm like, okay, so there's me personally. And what about my business? Because if we don't have a clear vision of what we want as a business, how are we going to achieve that? So, some of the other things that I had, and I'm going to read off of my list here, some things that I want my business, my culture, my mission to be for myself and my business. I put down things like legacy, wellness, empowerment, worth. I want people to feel their worth. When I'm interacting with someone, I want them to walk away feeling valued, right? Strength and community. I want to help people with their health. I want to be intentional, to give hope and encouragement, to make an impact, to create a community with connection and teamwork. And those are some of the things that I want for myself, for my business, for the people around me, for us to be known for those things. And so as I wrote those down, I was like, okay, that's awesome. Now what do I do with that? So then I started researching what's the difference in a vision statement and a mission statement. So your mission statement is about who do you serve, how do you do it, and what do you do? So that's a little bit different than your vision statement, which is looking into the future. What do you hope to become? What do you hope to create? And so I'm working on those. I don't even have them finished yet because this is something that I'm actively working with and doing right now. And as I'm doing that, I'm beginning to feel a cohesiveness coming, an understanding of where I want to go and how do I want to get there. Because if we don't have that articulated and established in our own mind and put down on paper, there is no possible way that we can communicate that to other people or achieve it because it's not defined. And so as we begin to go into the new year, as we begin to build our momentum for, beginning the transformation challenges coming up in January, as we begin to set our goals for 2022, can I encourage us all to sit with ourselves for a little bit and identify those things, figure out what do you want to be? Where do you want to go? And I don't know if you noticed, but none of those things had anything to do with a title or with money. It's identity, it's culture, it's purpose. And when we have that established, the rest will come. So set those intentions, those standards, if you will, what you're aspiring to. Establish that first. And then you can look at the how. What are the steps to get there? And that is where you might look at rank, number of enrollments that you need. How many auto ships do I need? So I don't know if you know this or not, but all you need to cover your required qualifying order every month. So it ends up being about $180, right? You got 150 in products and then your tax and your shipping. So it's about 180 bucks. All you need is 3 active accounts in each line weekly to cover that. That's not very many. Like when I realized that, I went, holy smokes, that is so attainable. That is so attainable to do that, to be able to start just covering your product. And then you can start building and building and building. And so, we're coming up into this time of the year where we're getting ready to start some challenges, some weight loss, helping people achieve some goals. And one thing that I hear frequently is, I want to wait and see how it works for me before I share it with anybody else. And that's cool, because I understand and I respect people's desire to be able to recommend something with confidence and integrity, knowing that it's a good product, that it works, and that they've had a great experience with it. So I don't discount that when somebody tells me that. But there's a better way. That way's not bad. There's another way that is much more effective. And that way says, I'm starting something. I'm excited about it. I don't know what it might do for me, but I think it's going to be great. What would you think about doing it with me? Then we can have some connection. We can help keep each other accountable. We can grow together through the process, and we can see what it could do for both of us. Because if it does for me what I think it's going to do, and it's as awesome for me as I'm hoping it will be, imagine what it would be for you. And then what you begin to do is you exponentially increase your testimonial power, the strength of your movement. You begin to build momentum because you're no longer dependent on you building a testimony over 3 or 4 months. And then you share it with somebody else who does the same. And maybe it takes them 3 or 4 months before they share it with somebody else. But if you can say to 5 people or 10 people at once, set yourself a clear goal. Like, I want to invite 10 people to join me. And that doesn't mean you've just invited 10 people, but I want 10 people to join me in this challenge starting the first week of January. How many people do we need to talk to get there? Right? Set a clear goal. And then you build that momentum, like you jumpstart it. It's like a rocket ship when you can invite more people to join you at once, so that you're not waiting for this person and that person to have a transformation that takes 2, 3, 4 months. And then they're willing to share. And then they got to start talking to people. And then they have to start, dripping and waiting for people to absorb the information and have all of those contact points before they're ready. So let's supercharge our momentum into this new year by inviting others to join us. And when you know what you stand for, what you want to be known for, and where you're going with it, inviting people to join you on that mission, that becomes easy. Then you're no longer trying to get somebody to sign up to buy a product. You are inviting someone to join your culture, your mission, your community that stands for something that's impacting people's lives. And the last thing I want to say before I give it back to Anthony is, as we're doing this, as we're working, there is a phrase that I've heard since I was a kid that I love. And it says, pray as though it all depends on God, and work as though it all depends on you. And you put the two of those things together with a clear vision, a clear direction, and an enthusiasm for what you're doing, and you are going to see an explosive growth and momentum in 2022. So Anthony, back to you. You're muted.
I said, I don't even think I need to go. I think we could just stop right there and just let the call in. I mean, that was real good right there. So, but it led right into what I wanted to talk about. It's always amazing how we always text each other. And then she tells me, I was like, oh, wow, this is powerful. Because, see, I wanted to talk about action, but not just normal action, because we all know action. That's just pretty much doing something, just having some kind of action going on in your life, in your business, in this case. But I want to talk about that uncomfortable action. So what I would like everybody to do is, what is something uncomfortable that you don't like doing in your business? In the chat, just tell me some different things. Is it social media? You don't like working on social media? In the chat, let me see some different options that you got here. So what is uncomfortable for you? Is it calling people? Is it following up? Is it inviting? Is it making a list? Is it presenting? Okay, we got social media, following up, follow up. Okay. Calling. Okay, so just reaching out to people. Okay, what else? I mean, we had 21 people. I should have 20 answers because mine is follow up. So 21 is mine. So the opening. Okay, so just getting the invitation, just opening people up, working on social media, follow up. Well, those will all consist of uncomfortable action because you're not comfortable doing it. So I will give a challenge at the end, but so doing the things that you don't feel is right, or like they're just not comfortable. Like like for instance, I wouldn't say, hey, I'm training for a marathon like Lance or Ironman like Lance and Billy did. That'd be something so uncomfortable for me. Then Billy always talks about, hey, you should run this marathon with me. I'm like, that's uncomfortable for me because I was a sprinter. And see, when you're a sprinter, you're used to getting on the track, getting off. That marathon and all that's long distance. So after my brain clicks off after about 600 meters, I'm like, oh, well, time for me to stop. But see, that's uncomfortable. But see, let me take you back when I first got started in this business. I'm going to take you way back, almost a decade ago. But it was something that was uncomfortable for me. When I first started this, I wanted to get to the BMW level. I wanted my bills to be paid, my car note to be taken care of at a young age. I was like, if I get there, that'll give me a good starting point. But what I started realizing was these people were giving up, sacrificing over here, even though they didn't want to get something. So I was like, one of my questions to you is, what are you willing to sacrifice? Because you're going to have to be willing to sacrifice something to get uncomfortable doing something. So what I did was at 21 years old, going on 22, I gave up partying. I gave up attending any birthday events and anything like that for 90 days. 2.5 months later, I was driving a BMW. And I did it another 3 months. And guess what? That took me from nothing all the way to a business that was doing close to 6 figures a year. But it was uncomfortable. I was used to always supporting somebody. When the time came, it was your birthday, you was having a party. Plus, I'm at a young age. It was uncomfortable for me. But see, think back in your life when something was uncomfortable for you, you did it anyway, and then look at the blessing that came behind it. So my question for you is, what uncomfortable actions do you need to take so you can have the blessings that you need to fulfill that vision that Michelle was talking about? But see, because the only way you're going to get there is you're going to have to step up outside your comfort zone. You're going to have to do something different. You're going to have to be willing to pick up the phone and call somebody. You're not bugging them if they told you they were interested in what you had. See, follow-up is just something. Follow-up will become easier for all of us if we just picked up the phone and just asked. See, we pick up the phone and beat around the bush. Lance, I remember you saying invitation. See, the invitation becomes easier when you do it enough times. See, presenting was one of my worst things when I first started because I felt like I would always mess up. And then I realized over time that no matter how many times I messed up, the person on the other side didn't know I messed up until I messed up. That was my presenting, but over time I got better. And that's why I'm able to present the way I am. And I heard social media. Social media is something that I was like, oh no, because all I seen was negativity on there. And all I seen was people complaining on there when I first got started. People say, well, and you're pretty good at social media. I'm all right. But it just takes time. It takes, Fraser Brooks talks about all the time. There's always a button on there that It's called delete. So do it anyway. Do the live and just do it. It doesn't matter. You can always come back and delete. See, the thing about social media over picking up the phone sometimes is that you can go back and delete. So I've seen some people in there talking about social media. So it doesn't matter what it is that you're uncomfortable at. The only way to get better, for all of us to get better at it, is just to do it a little bit more. So that, so I always remember this, whatever makes you uncomfortable is really your biggest opportunity for growth. If you truly want to grow at something, just do something uncomfortable for a period of time. And just watch. I mean, think about it. When you think about, I go to Billy because Billy just did a marathon. It was uncomfortable for him to prepare for a marathon. And Lance was his coach, so I'm pretty sure he heard all kinds of things. Like, it probably was, as a coach, when you're a coach, you don't always get the best words from your athletes or from the people you're training. You probably like, man, this sucks. Why I keep having to do this? But guess what? The biggest opportunity came for Billy when he went through that uncomfortable action on a daily basis. Same thing with Lance. The biggest opportunity training for the marathon, for the Ironman, came after all the uncomfortable days of training. It's probably sometimes he wanted to have so many cheat days and he was like, man, I can't do it. Think about it. For all of us that want to tone up our body, I can ask Melissa and Andrew because they're sitting there on my screen as well. See, even though it was uncomfortable, I mean, she talked about the water. I remember she sharing a story, and that's how powerful stories are. That's why you got to get good at sharing your story. You see how all these stories just keep coming up in my head. And see, it wasn't, people always say, well, I don't have a story. We'll use other people's stories. Just get uncomfortable at grabbing, just tuning in and getting other people's stories, and they always will come back. I can go back to stories for 10 years now because I would just listen. I've never had a big transformation story, but I'm good at telling other people's. Now, I used to always, let me tell you about Michelle's story, and she's a photographer. I used to shake and I used to get nervous that was me because I never really enjoyed talking in front of people because that was like I could talk in front of you if we know each other. Like, I know everybody on here, so I could talk in front of you. But when it came to talking in front of a room and it's 20 people I don't know or this and that, and I was like, oh man, I'm nervous, but I just got better over time. And that's what I'm telling you could do. The uncomfortable action will lead to your biggest opportunity for you in 2022. And you can start now. So my challenge for everybody is to do something the rest of the year that's uncomfortable to you. So you're not good at following up? Okay, well, follow one person a day to the end of the year. Find one person. Huh? I don't care if it's a customer that's been on your products for a while. Just call. Say, hey, Michelle, I know you've been consuming the products. I just wanted to check and see how you were doing. That's a follow-up. How is it helping you out? Or you talked to somebody about 2 weeks ago, Billy met somebody here. Follow up with them. Say, hey, I know I added you to the Level Up Life group. I just wanted to check and see what you like best about it. See, follow. I want you to do, if your uncomfortable action that you put in that chat, my challenge for you is to do one every single day to the end of the year. If it's social media, you go to your Facebook and you hit this thing, it's called live, and you just hit play and you just talk. I don't care if it's what you're cooking for today. I don't care if it's what you're reading. I don't care what it is you're doing. I want you to get uncomfortable doing. Well, I want you to do whatever you are uncomfortable doing for the once a day for the next 30 days. That is my, not even 30 days. It's like you got 22 days. Just go live. And if that's social media, Lance, I know yours was invitation. I want you to pick up the phone and invite somebody like you was inviting them to your kid's birthday party. Hey, Melissa, my daughter, she's having a birthday gathering this weekend. I just wanted to invite you, see if you were, if you and Andrew and the kids were available to come by and check it out. What's wrong with that? How can we invite for the kids' birthday party, but we can't invite for the kids' future? So it's different things like that. So I just want y'all to do the uncomfortable action the next 22 days. whatever it is. Okay, you could take off Christmas, so 21 days. Or well, not for the people who said social media, because you can go live on social media on Christmas and say, hey, we're about to open up the kids' presents. I don't care what it is. Take a picture, because you can always come back and delete it. Just do it, because you just never know what video, what live, what post is going on social media that's going to help you be big there. You never know which follow-up is going to be the best one for you. Never see, that's mine. So my challenge for myself the next 22 days is follow up. Well, 21 days, because I'm not going to bother nobody on Christmas. So, but on New Year's, I'm bothering somebody because it's a new year and I don't care about that. Hey, either you're going to transform your life in 2022 or you're not. So follow up. That is mine. So you put something in the chat. Now look at yourself in the mirror and say, hey, you know what? I'm going to do it. Because I just want you to get good at doing those little things. See, all we got to do is become experts in this industry. And then there's only the key steps. It's either inviting, presenting, follow up. What is it? It's a couple of more. Making a list. We all can make a list and just follow up. Just follow up with them and just get your notepad. That's all I do every time I'm about to start following up. I'm be like, okay, I got to call Bob. Let me see. Bob said he enjoying the products. Bam, on to the next person. Tomorrow, find somebody else. And, and watch over time, it just become natural. It's like brushing your teeth. It's like riding a bicycle. It's like doing this. It's like doing that. Billy talks about running all the time now. Like it was just like he's been doing it for 20 years. Because now he can run the marathon. Now every marathon come up, Billy like, I'm in for it. But he had to go through the uncomfortable action. Lance went to the Ironman last year, said, you know what, I'm doing it again. Like who just says, hey, I want to beat my body up like that and do it again? But see, guess what? Over the uncomfortable action now is one of his biggest opportunities in life. And so that's what I want y'all to have. And that's what we should have in our businesses. We just got to get over the little things that we feel are uncomfortable. We got to do those uncomfortable actions. I heard him talk about it at the GoPro, but I was just really been on my mind. I was thinking about how can I share this with people? Because once we make the decision, we got this vision and we make that decision to say, you know what, I'm going to do it. It's not hard to pick up the telephone. It trust me, it don't weigh 10,000 pounds. It doesn't. It's pretty light. Everybody's phone is pretty light. Hey, pick it up, make the call, invite, follow up, get on social media, make your post, take 15 minutes. You know what I'm going, 5 minutes. I'm going live. Aunt told me I had to go live. You know what? Forget it. I'm going live about this book I'm reading. You know what? I'm going live about what I'm cooking dinner for my family. You're doing it anyway. You're going to do it anyway. So do it. And then on the follow-up is real key because you don't want your family member or friend to get that call from somebody else because it's coming. It's coming. The new year is coming. People looking to lose weight. People looking to get healthy. People looking for 2022 to be the best year yet for them. So they're looking for something to do differently. Do you want to be the first person or the second or third person that reaches out to them? Do you want to be early or you want to be late? So that is my tips for everybody. Get uncomfortable. Let's finish this year off great. Let's go be disruptive in our businesses. Oh, go for it, Michelle.
I got just one thing to add in with that uncomfortable action. As you're doing that, as you're challenging yourself and pushing yourself to do that one or two things that are uncomfortable for you, can I challenge you to choose an attitude of positive outcome? Look at it and say, what can I gain from this? What am I going to grow in? What is the best possible outcome that could happen from this? And look at that. Choose to be positive. Choose to see the opportunity in the discomfort rather than grudgingly go, ugh, I hate this. But Anthony told me I should do it, so I'm going to do it. Because when we have that attitude about it, people feel that. And it's going to change the energy about your activity. And so as you're pursuing that uncomfortable action, choose also a positive attitude of positive growth outcomes with it. Anthony is tremendous. You ask that man how he is, He might have lost everything today, but he's going to tell you he is blessed and grateful because he's breathing. Okay, we get to choose the attitude with which we face the world. So choose a positive, optimistic outlook when you're doing your uncomfortable action, and even when you're not doing your uncomfortable action. When you're tempted to say, I'm mad, today sucks, this didn't go well, choose to look at what went well. Choose to look at something you're grateful for and watch how it shifts the energy for your day. All right. So positive outlook, uncomfortable action. Let's go rock it with a great mission, great vision, and knowing where we're headed. We love you guys.
Love you guys. Let me hit the unmute so you can tell Michelle how awesome she is.
You're the awesome one.